Oh,
you want to sit up?
Okay. All right, here it is. Is this better?
So, as you know, I'm getting people's stories from all around Thailand. I'd like to introduce you to a couple of friends of mine that I met here in Pai. This is Vincent and Pen. Vincent and Pen are not a couple. They're not married. We're going to go into that a little bit in a moment. But first, I'm going to ask Vincent about moving to Thailand. Vincent is a retired chiropractor. And had you always planned to come and live in Thailand, Vincent, or was it something you discovered later in life that you were going to do? Was it a plan of yours to live here, or?
No, it was never a plan of mine to live here until I came here as a monk. I was living with the monks as a monk, but I was never initiated as a monk.
Okay, yeah.
So I wasn't truly a monk, but I was living with the monks and nuns.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And then you kind of had a bit of inspiration to come and live here, but you went back to the States in order to work
To make money.
And to make money. And so in your job there, you talked a little bit to me earlier about the importance of building up a social security if you're a little bit older. Has that been important for
Well, that was part of my plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so, when I had to borrow money from a friend, because I had no money as a monk, I had to borrow money to go back to America and work. Yeah. And I had that experience at my sister's house, where I was living in the worst part of town, dangerous, can't go out after dark, bars on all the windows, dangerous place.
Yeah.
And I'm just living there on a mattress on the floor, only furniture in the whole house, thinking, well, I was just a monk in a beautiful place, now I'm here. What am I doing? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I go, okay, I'm going to work for 10 years and never have to work again. And that became my goal. Uh-huh. And so I think an important part of a goal like that is to have a time frame.
Yeah.
But to me, 10 years seemed enough time. Okay, I can do that,
After those years of work then, you made the decision, right, I'm going to go to Thailand and I'm going to live off the Social Security. Is that right? This was in 2006, was it? Or?
So I'm living in Hawaii and I'm working so I can retire and never have to work again. Mm-hmm. And then, my idea was to go back to Thailand, to become, to continue my spiritual journey in Thailand, because it's a Buddhist culture. I just sensed that it was very, very supportive of that.
Yes.
Yeah, much more though than California.
Yeah, Thai people.
Yeah,
and
the whole thing.
Here.
Yeah, the whole thing. And so I was on the internet with this guy. He was a French guy. He was here in Thailand, and I thought he was going to be my teacher. Mm-hmm. And I came over here and spent 3 days with him and realized it was a waste of time. The guy was, he was nowhere.
So you separated from him, but you decided, hell, I'm going to stay.
Well, I was in Thailand. Well, I separated from him, and I had nowhere to go. I was like, okay, I'm in Thailand. I'm already here. I don't want to leave. What am I had no idea. But I heard of a place called Pattaya. Uh-huh. But I had no idea what it was. I didn't know it was the sex capital of Asia. I didn't know that, right? Yeah. And so I rented a condominium, kind of, fairly close to the ocean there in Pattaya. And it was three bungalows on the bottom, just a bedroom, bathroom, kitchen in the bedroom, a one-room thing. Yeah. And I had 4 bar girls living on one side of me and 5 bar girls living on the other side of me, and I'm just there by myself. But I was there for about a month. Okay. Talking to some friends I had from another acquaintance another time, and I came home one day. And I just looked up. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and standing outside in front of my condo on the walkway, all the bar girls were standing there, and there's a woman there wearing white, which I didn't know what that meant, but I'm looking up. I go, okay, it looks safe, So I just went up there, and the head bar girl said to me, she goes, I notice you're different. You don't come home drunk. You don't bring home women. We would like you to go to temple with this woman. Her mother is a nun. And I go, absolutely. And so I went with her that day, and I went to this place called Wat Phu Khao Lek, which is down in a beautiful place, great people, but nobody speaks English there, nobody. And I don't speak any Thai. So,
how long were you in the temple before you left? How many months?
I was there for 3 months.
For 3 months. So then, as a practical aspect, what about your Social Security? Do you find that it's enough to sustain you out here, retired out here in your later years? Because obviously the cost of living out here in Thailand is much cheaper than you would be used to back in the States,
well,
right?
Correct. I mean, my Social Security right now is $1,400 and something a month, okay? And when I was working back then, I was self-employed, so I had to pay both sides of it. I had to, pay like 14%. Yeah, right, yeah. So I paid a lot into it. And then when when it got to the point where I was, ready to come back here, I had income coming in from the other work I'd done, and I also had the Social Security. But now pretty much all I have is Social Security.
Okay.
And
you're finding it's enough to live comfortably in Thailand?
More than enough.
Yes.
I mean, like I say, I get 1,400. People get like 1,200. I think it's the lowest. I think in America it goes.
Yeah.
And when you equate that over to Thai baht, that's over 30,000 a month in Thai baht.
Uh-huh.
And you can live in Thailand very comfortably on 30,000.
I mean, you've got a beautiful house here out in the nature as well, which would cost
amazing.
a fortune if it was in the UK or somewhere else. And I think you said it's like 8,000 baht or something.
Well, it was 7,500, but I haven't put an air conditioner in for me, so they increased it to it's like 8,000 a month. And then I pay for water. Water is not that expensive. Electricity, not too bad.
It's about 9,000 per month.
About 9,000.
Yeah, total is about 9,000.
As those that watch my main channel know, I talk a lot about mushrooms on this channel. In particular, I'm using lion's mane mushroom and reishi mushroom at the moment, but for very different reasons. Lion's mane, I find, helps boost the creativity, gives me that bit of energy and motivation in the morning to get going, to actually pick up the camera. It's like my caffeine, I guess you could say. And then reishi is quite the opposite. It's the one that I use at the end of the day to wind down and shut my brain off and get those deeper REM sleeps. And the reason I choose Fruiting Body is because I know their business inside and out, having researched it over the years. They're not using any mycelium on grain or starch, which is just basically useless filler, which is in the capsule and does absolutely nothing with none of the benefits of these mushrooms. But don't take my word for it. Take some time. Check out the Queensland University study in Australia, which has shown the impact of lion's mane on nerve regeneration and its potential use in the prevention of Alzheimer's in future. Fruiting Body mushroom supplements are now available worldwide. You can check my link out in the description. That's going to get you a discount. Shipping is a little bit high if you're international, so it's better to get a decent supply, 6 months to a year. If you're in Thailand, the shipping is quite cheap as usual. Check out that link below and do let me know how you get on, because I always like to hear the feedback from subscribers that have used the mushroom and it's had some positive impact in their life. What I find unique about Vincent's situation, his living situation here as well, is like these guys are not married, they're not a couple, but Pen has a lot of experience as a nurse and looking after people, particularly in the Chiang Mai area, right?
Right.
So certain clients that she's had where she is like a carer. So when she met Vincent, he had a few health issues. Actually, he was in a wheelchair up here, alone, unable to get food and things like that, or with great difficulty.
I was paying people to bring food to me.
He was paying people to bring food. And so Penn kind of steps in with foreigners that may be a little bit older or have some medical issue, some memory issues. And that's what you do, right, Penn? How did you get into that? How did you...
I came to Pai quite many times, but this time I came just because I have some trouble healthy with the vaccination, COVID vaccination, and caused me that this pain on my hip as almost I could not walk. So I get therapy in Chiang Mai hospital, and then I need some time for myself. So I asking my another friend to just stay in his house because I don't have any house in here. So my friend allow me to stay in his house, and then he know Vincent. So just because he saw how pain I am, so he thought that Vincent can helping me at his career before in USA. So even on that time, he got a broken leg. He on the wheelchair.
Vincent had a broken leg in the wheelchair.
Right, in the wheelchair, but he still find somehow to go to my friend's house and helping me.
Okay.
And that's how I met him. And then I was sharing, and then I see that he need help also because he got a broken leg. He cannot go out. He cannot find the food. So on this case, it's like I feel his heart.
Yes.
And then as it's my own personality that taking care of people, so I feel like we should help each another. So that's why we become today.
And you've worked with people in the past though, right? In this kind of capacity where I guess it's like a private carer.
Private care.
And that's available in Thailand for people that are getting a bit older. Maybe you're not married to a Thai, maybe you don't want a relationship with a Thai, but you don't want to go in nursing home, which is very expensive here. So you would be looking for somebody to take care. And is that like I mean, in the UK, that would be very expensive.
Right.
In Thailand, like, what are the usual costs involved in having somebody help you out?
Here is much cheaper. It's called between 1,500. No, not 15.
15,000.
15,000. It depends, and up to maybe 60,000.
Well, maybe more.
Maybe more. It
Yeah.
depends. It depends how professional you want, how many hours you want doing in the day. Or you just need like a helper, that's cheaper. You need nurse aid, that is a little bit cost more. And if you need the nurse, that is cost full time and all those kind of things. Yeah.
And you're full time with
I'm
Vincent,
full-time
right?
with Vincent.
So that involves like helping each other out, like helping out with food and,
Right,
and
right,
take care of the house, that
right,
kind of
right,
thing.
right.
So, I mean, I find it quite interesting because it's not a predicament I've been in at my age, but it's good to know that you could, when you get older, have some support,
Right.
especially from somebody with your expertise
Right.
as a nurse, right?
Right.
And your friends too, right? So you
Right.
can talk.
My situation is worse than most people's would be.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have Alzheimer's. I have all kinds of problems, and
So your memory, sometimes you forget things.
I
Or,
even forgot my name. I even woke it up and didn't even know who I was. I mean, it's got that bad. That lasted about 5 minutes, and that was kind of scary.
He forget everything he do for short memory. Like if you asking him in the evening what his day was, what he done for today, he will forget all.
okay. And you're quite aware of this?
Oh, absolutely.
You're aware that the Alzheimer's is kicking
Well, my
in?
mother had it. Her mother had it. I watched it. I mean, I know what it is. Yeah.
And so it's important also to have somebody that you trust around, right?
Absolutely.
That you can trust because
Right.
because people could be sneaky or you could meet the
You
wrong
just have to
person.
be-
And,
I mean, I got myself ripped off before.
oh, you did?
Oh, big time. I mean, like massive, because I trusted them.
Okay.
So you got to you got to be reasonable. You got to run it like a business. You're in charge of the business, and you're paying out when you're paying out, but you're not giving your business to somebody else.
Yeah.
You're in charge of your business, but you can do that as long as you're able to do it. Which for most people we're talking to, they're going to be in that category.
Yeah, most people, maybe they just find it difficult to get around as they get older, but maybe it's not Alzheimer's, maybe something different, So, but you have a very good, like, a partnership here in that Penn can help you with what you need.
Oh, and we've known each other for how long? A couple of years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it takes time to get to know someone, but as you get to know them, then you can trust them more. But you got to take your time and you got to be careful with it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, so it's good to know that service is available.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of agencies popping up now around Thailand that are offering this sort of thing.
Can find a caretaker from the agency. You can just search on the Google. They pop up in each area in Thailand, especially with the popular area like Bangkok, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, or tourist area that you can find it easily, but depend how you shoot. But honestly, normally we do by hour, like a shipping.
Oh, by hour,
we
yeah.
not much
Right.
do 24 care like I'm doing.
Yes.
But this honestly, this case, I have to say, I taken care of many people before, but I do by hour or by shipping before. But just because he get a good heart, he really have a good heart. He offered to help every people he saw the pain that he thought that he could help, so he helped. So I love that it's based on me. That's it. I love to helping people too. So that's why we become good together on the taking care of each other.
So it become
and the
more
friend.
24-hour thing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and with the memory issue,
Right.
that's kind of important.
Right.
Like, maybe you could be part-time if you can't get up and around,
Right.
but with a memory issue, that's important. So last question on this one then. Do you see this as the long-term thing? Do you think that's it? I'm in Thailand now for good, or you don't plan at all, or is this where you want to be for the rest of your life, or?
Well, I would say that there's two parts of me. But my spiritual part of me wants me to become a monk again
Okay.
and go that direction, do it 100%, because it's so hard for me to do that and be out in the world. Really do the meditation. I don't go out and play drums. I don't ride my motorcycle around.
Which is some of the activities you do here up in Pai, right?
Well, I love to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to play.
You have a
frisbee.
social life.
Yeah, correct. And it's more difficult to have a social life and then go into a meditation where you're actually all about leaving the whole social life, but then going back into it again. And so, most spiritual paths require a person to give up pretty much the whole world and go totally into that. But the pathways that are available now, and there's quite a few good ones out there, but it's not enough to change humanity. It hasn't worked yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you find that also living with Pen's very aware of your spiritual requirements as well, right?
She supports them. I think
so she has a Buddhist context.
Correct.
So you want time alone, you want time in meditation, this kind of things. Like she understands what's going on.
She's the one that says, "Do your meditation."
Well, she has to remind you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she goes, "Do your meditation." I go, "Oh, I don't want to do meditation." Do your
So she's become your spiritual teacher.
guide.
Guide, yeah.
So basically, I like his mom.
You like his mum.
Taking care
Right.
of everything about him.
He calls you mum sometimes.
Right, he called me mother sometimes. Yeah. Because he feel for that, and also the time to taking care because he lost his memory, like Alzheimer, and he getting on, and sometimes like people get lazy and get cause all those kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of be like more like not like a caretaker, more like a mom to taking care of the house, of the food, because he need a good food to support his memory also, and also the routine, and sometimes that just because he could not remember things, he don't know when he woke up, even sometimes that he don't even know that he's sleeping.
Oh, really?
Even he have like good sleeping, like 12 hours already, but he woke up with that, oh, I didn't sleep good, so I have to do everything for him.
So it sounds like hard work too,
hard,
right?
It's very hard with him. So sometimes I need to make the schedule for him, like what you have to do for today is like that, so he can go in direction. But sometimes it become too much for him also because he needs time to relax. I need to let him go out and be social, so he can have more energy too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one good thing though is me and Vincent talked for about 3 hours the other day. And you can still hold a conversation, and you know I never see, I haven't personally witnessed any like fading out or like not knowing what's going on. You seem pretty coherent to me, which is a positive thing of the situation.
It is a positive thing, and I think if I was to try to say it in an accurate way, when I go into like higher or altered state of consciousness, my brain works better.
Okay.
But when I go back to my normal daily self
Activities,
that's when things go off quite easily.
And does it worry you, Vincent? Is it a scary prospect that it may get progressively worse, or are you comfortable with it, or what?
Well, I don't have much of a choice. I mean, it just is.
Yeah, I don't mean you can choose, but I mean, how do you feel about it? Like, are you scared of it, or are you in very much an acceptance of the progression?
It's more like I accept it, but then I have to fix it. It is what it is, but I have to fix it, and this is why I do things like ride motorcycles fast.
Okay.
Because when I ride them fast, I got to pay attention, I got to be totally in the present, and that kind of focus helps my brain work better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And playing the drums. When I play the drums, it's like, I play first with my mind and but then I get into a state where I'm kind of like, it's like I'm being played, like a real musician. It's like their mind goes out of the way and it just happens. It's like that.
So those kind of activities, keep you
working in a more positive direction.
Okay.
Yeah. But if I stopped doing that kind of stuff, I would probably just sit around and vegetate and watch TV all day long. Yeah. Yeah.
So also, Vincent told me about his water process, which is quite interesting, something I've not done at the farm before in my water. We buy our water in. But Vincent's a bit of an expert at this, preparing his water. What's your process, Vincent?
Well, first I want to explain something that in Thailand, they use a chemical for pesticide that's illegal in America because it never goes away. I think the name is glycoside.
And it's in the water.
It's everywhere. I mean, all the fruit have it. You just can't get away from it, period. But in the water, it's even, there's that plus other chemicals. So the only way that I have found that you can really get clean, good water to drink without the plastics in it and all this other stuff is the water distilled up like this. And you can buy it. It's not expensive. It's like 4,000 baht from Lazada. It's all stainless steel, see? All stainless steel. Okay. And so you fill the water up, you turn it on, you stick this here, now you have distilled water. Distilled water is clean. You also have to carbon filter it to get out some of the stuff that boils at the same temperature as the water, so it comes out also, but the carbon filter takes that out.
Okay.
So now you got pure distilled water. That's a problem though. Very low pH. Now the blood's 7.35, 7.45 pH or you die, right? But the body in the extracellular fluid outside of the blood system is supposed to be a alkaline pH also. But because the blood is more critical, and most people have an acid lifestyle, dairy, alcohol, sugar, all acid. So the body takes alkalizing minerals like magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, and manganese. And these are all alkalizing minerals. And so the body takes those minerals from the body, puts it into the bloodstream to keep the blood alkaline, but then the body goes acid. So almost everything that goes wrong in our system is from acidity. Okay? So when I make this distilled water, this is now extremely acid. This is like massively acid.
So you're using the water from the tap, just standard any water, distilling it, but then it's acidic.
Put it in here. Now it's very acidic, but it's clean. Then I add, where's my mineralizing? Yeah. Then I add this, which you can get from Lazada.
Oh yeah, pH 12.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So I have alkalized. These things alkalize the water, but to do that correctly, you got to measure it. And this is what I use to measure it. Litmus paper.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to do this, to really do this in a healthy way, what you want to do is you want to test your own extracellular pH. Okay. You see if you're acid or not. Okay. Now, the way to do that is you brush your teeth really well before you go to bed. Rinse all your mouth out, get everything clean, right? Then go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, before you put anything in your mouth, the saliva is the best example of the extracellular fluid, right? So you don't want to dilute it in any way. So the first thing you get up in the morning, take this off.
In your mouth.
Swallow 3 times, clear out your mouth. And then test. You see, I'm really acid right now. See, I'm right down here.
Okay,
see?
that's going yellow. That's to the acids around a 6, yeah?
And 6 to 7 is 10 times as acid. It's a scale of 10, right?
So it sounds like also, Pen, you've learnt this system as well for him when you're taking care, like he wants some water. You know how to do this?
Right, I know how to do this, but he taught me at the beginning, right, when he bought the stiller and everything, and then so if he not do it, I'm do it for him. But for myself, I'm just too lazy, so I'm doing this one. And before I'm doing, I taste it also this one, PS7.
This is also an alkaline pH, but it's got the plastic poisoning in it.
Oh, because the plastic's in the bottle, right?
Right. So he loved this one more than this one, but for me, this one is more convenient. You just buy from 7-Eleven. This one is about PS7.
Well, that's pretty low.
Right, very low. This one is better.
So before you knew Vincent, you never knew anything about this, right?
No, I never know anything about this until that's in my pain net that Vincent cannot fit me. So Vincent say maybe it's pH in your body is not balanced enough. So he taught me how to check it, and he give me this one, and then end up that he suggestion about pH 7 water. That's why I'm sharing the water for drinking, and then I'm sharing to be this type, and then I improve my health.
Perfect. That's great.
Well, just for kind of general understanding, there are 3 things that can cause muscles to contract. Nervous signal, contract, too much calcium in the body, or you have an acid pH, can also make muscles contract. So if you're running around with an acid pH, like she was, the whole system tightens up, and that creates all kinds of different problems.
Okay.
So, I mean, having...
And you established for Pen, it wasn't nerve and it wasn't muscle. Could be the acid pH.
Could be, but with her again, out of 99% of everybody that works, it didn't work for her.
Because Pen gets 3 chiropractic as a friend.
Right.
Yeah, so you get the back cracked, but it doesn't work for you. Yeah.
Most of the problems people have are from muscle spasms. And there's a way using a pressure technique that if you know where to go, I can explain. If you relax, if you put pressure there and it hurts, say it's 10 is the maximum pain you can stand, you take it to like a 6 or 7 level and you just hold it there, that can cause a reaction that relaxes the whole muscle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you can feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to be trained for it, but I can explain it, and if you work at it, you can find it.
Okay.
Everybody's got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got them. You distill it, and then you alkalize it, and you measure it. And you make sure I like to keep it at a 10 pH because my system's already acid. So I want to make it alkaline.
Okay.
So if I just drink the 7.5 pH.
Oh, so you're counterbalancing the excess acidity by making it a 10. Yeah, alkalinity.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Right.
And as Vincent said, you can get this equipment on Lazada. So it's not like specialist stuff. It's all there.
But the water still, I got that on Mazada for like 4,000 something, and this is like what? How much is this? Like 60 baht or something?
No, 90 baht.
90 baht.
90 baht.
Okay.
She knows. Pen knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
You do ordering for him too as well.
Right.
Okay.
I go down, and when my hand hits the ground, no air in your lungs.
Okay.
Out. We moved about 7 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's more.
So we got Vincent now showing me this stretch. He's able to do this at his age on his own. And he's pulling that, he's stretching the hamstring, right? And is this an exercise you'll do a lot, Vincent, on your own or not?
I should do every day, but I don't.
Ben knows all the techniques, how to set it all up and everything, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I've done it so many times with her.
Oh. Not really warning.
Well, I did watch you.
Oh.
No warning. Yeah, he did that when in the park too.
Yeah.
Told me to lift the leg up.
That went well. Yeah.
I feel better now, Pen?
Yeah, I feel better and the headache get a little bit gone too when I stayed full and got headache.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for chatting with me. That was nice and easy. Nice, easy conversation. And I think an interesting story, an interesting insight into one of the many different lives that people are living up here in Pai. Many different circumstances, different ages, different backgrounds, different countries people come from. It's always surprising to me and always makes my trips all the more colourful to meet new friends like Vincent and Pen. So thanks for joining us today, guys.
Let me add one more thing here. You
Yeah.
can edit with it if you want. But you know, when you're living by yourself like I am, you know, I'm paying 8,000 baht for a house, so 9,000 total, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to hire people to come bring me food. And you can actually, you know, there's places you can go here to eat that are great and a lot of stuff. But I used to have, you know, I have to pay them 300 baht a delivery, and then I pay for the food. And they would just bring me the food, you know, and I could tell them where to go or what I wanted.
Each time they would charge 300 or?
Each time, but when they bought like a whole day.
Oh, for the whole day.
Yeah,
For the whole
right.
day.
Yeah, and I would just give them 300 baht for the service and pay for the food, and so you can make it. You can have help, but it doesn't have to be 24/7.
Yes.
You can just hire it out.
Right.
You can hire somebody to come clean your house
At a reasonable price.
at a reasonable. Oh, very reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, very
But
reasonable.
it's different than that is just normal care.
Yes.
But he needs a special care
Yeah.
by his emotion and
But that's what I'm
Alzheimer
talking.
thing.
A lot of
Yeah.
people don't have my kind of problem.
Right,
That's what I'm
right.
saying. So
They're just getting older. A lot of people are just getting
Yeah,
older, and
yeah.
mobility is an
Right,
issue,
right.
and maybe they're not multimillionaires,
Right.
so they can't afford like a whole staff of
right.
hires. They're on a budget. But I think this perfectly shows that even on a modest budget,
Right.
you can do so much
You
here.
live very comfortably here, and there's a lot more freedom here than anywhere else I've ever been, particularly in America.
And a community in Pai as well. you're a
Community,
part of.
people.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of great people come through here all the time. You know? Yeah,
Interesting folk.
yeah. I can say this place in Pai reminds me of Northern California back in the '70s when I was growing up. And
I wasn't born.
Yeah, right. But I really love it. Yeah, I just love it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't born yet.
You wasn't born yet.
I still somewhere. I don't know where I was. Yeah.
That's it. All right, guys. Perfect.